Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and today we are talking about what to do when you feel overwhelmed by tasks. Now, I sat down the other day and felt totally overwhelmed by the tasks in front of me, but I got out of that overwhelm, and today I want to walk you through exactly what I did so you can feel that same sense of relief. Now, we have a video to go with this that I actually filmed in 3 parts as I was going through the processing. So you can either watch the video or listen to this podcast or read the written version that we've also included on the show notes page. That is at learndobecome.com/episode 104. Or you can do all 3. You can listen to the podcast and watch the video and review the recap. And we've got everything taken care of for you because we want to make it easy for you to get out of this overwhelm and to be able to move forward feeling excited about life. So I'm going to start out just explaining why I felt overwhelmed at the time I sat down to record the video and as I started putting all this together. There is a lot going on in life for all of us, and you get it. When I sat down to record this specific experience, Eric and I had just returned from a couple of weeks of on and off travel, and things at home and in the business had piled up. I had dozens of emails, projects that were waiting for me, emergencies, in quotes, in the family and in some of our community roles, and just a lot of little details swirling around in my head. And when I sat down at my desk and computer, I felt like there was way too much to manage. Information was coming in from every part of my life. I was even getting Slack messages that were popping up while I was filming. I think it felt even heavier because while we were traveling, we went and visited our son at his scout camp, and we saw some family, and we did some just time out in nature. It was really good. But I was reading and imagining and thinking about new goals during the travels, and I had all these great ideas that I wanted to implement once I got home. Have you been there? I've often called this post-retreat letdown syndrome. And to be honest, as I looked at my email, my to-do list, my planner, my phone, and the pile on my desk, I thought, I would so much rather watch Netflix right now. But because of the system I've been using for more than a decade, it's what we called a step command central, I simply got to work, and that's what I'm going to explain today. So first, I just want to talk about the schedule I created. Looking at the things on my plate and the time and energy I had available, I decided to do the following, and I have all of this written out on the post. So I decided I'd spend an hour and a half getting my emails to zero, working through the notifications and tasks inside Asana, and organizing my paper planner, meaning I was extracting notes, cleaning up the pages, filing receipts, etc. Then I had 1 hour of a break scheduled so I could eat lunch, take a little walk, make some phone calls like the orthodontist and some home maintenance things. Then I had 2 hours of solid project work scheduled when I would shut myself into a room and have uninterrupted time thinking and focusing on the projects that needed my full attention. Then I scheduled a nap because I love naps. And then we had family activities. So time with my daughter, going to the library with my son, going on a walk with Eric and Sunny, our dog, and reading and just being able to enjoy life. Because that's the whole point. I want you enjoying your life. And I know there's a lot that needs to be done. And I know there's a lot of problems in the world. But there's still the capacity to have joy. And I think it's so important. All right, now I want to share what worked really well when I did this processing. Now, my first block of time ended up taking a little longer than I'd planned, but I got my emails to zero, which was lovely. I got my Asana projects and tasks organized. I cleared my desk, got my planner all cleaned up and up to date, and my immediate thought was, okay, I can breathe. Everything is feeling better. And that feels so good. But here are a few tools and tips that made this work. First is Evernote. I love this app. I literally use it 10 to 20 times each day. So I took photos of things in my planner as I was processing that I knew I wanted to reference later. I added screenshots of texts or social media notes or project details, etc. that I wanted to keep. And as I put them in Evernote, my Evernote is organized into a simple set of notebooks and notebook stacks, so things are easily findable. And I even forwarded emails to my Evernote account that had important details or attachments I wanted to use later. Now, it depends on the version. We do use a premium version, a paid version of Evernote. And so they give you an email address that's specific to your account. So if you get an email, you can just forward it to that specific email address and it pops it into Evernote. You can give it like a default folder where it goes or default notebook. Or you can edit the subject line and send it to a specific notebook, which is like super fun. But I love Evernote. Super, super amazing. They do a great job with it. Now, if you were a fly on the wall during my processing parties, you would see a lot of Evernote engagement going on. And you can totally use OneNote or another piece of software that you love that does a similar kind of thing. But the reason Evernote is so great is because it syncs beautifully with my computer and phone. It holds photos, written notes, PDFs, videos, forwarded emails, etc. And you can search any word, even one that is handwritten on a piece of paper that you photographed. So imagine how awesome that is. I can take notes in my paper planner, take a photo of that page, upload it to Evernote, and then search for it by keyword whenever I want. This is so fun. Okay. Sorry, I get a little giddy about it. Okay, next, Google Calendar. Now, Eric laughs at me because I'm really bad at using a digital calendar. My paper one was always on point, but for some reason, I constantly mess up my digital version. Like I'll have grocery shopping randomly scheduled at 3 a.m. on a Monday or something like that, and Eric will say, "Hey, why are you going grocery shopping at 3 a.m.? And clearly I'm not. But I am still committed to a digital calendar because it works really well when it comes to communicating my schedule with Eric, and it's easy to edit and add notes, etc. So as I was processing, I scheduled meetings and events into the calendar and added reminders or calendar triggers to help me track tasks that need to be done in the future. Now, Asana, A-S-A-N-A, it's another software I love. It's also linked to my Google Calendar. So tasks I schedule in Asana for certain days show up as all-day events on my Google Calendar. It's super helpful to have everything in one place. Now, one quick example of how I use the calendar trigger. I need to hold a Zoom meeting with a couple of team members next week, but I need more information about their schedules before setting up the final details. So I added a calendar trigger for Friday that said, Zoom meeting scheduled for Project X. That way, my brain can rest because I know I'll be reminded even if I haven't yet heard back from my team, which I do 99.9% of the time. It's just that we need to tell ourselves and explain to our brains, nothing is slipping through the cracks. Not on my watch, right? And yes, I know it's okay if something slips through the cracks occasionally, but I just feel so much better knowing that I'm not dropping the ball. All right, a little bit more on Asana. People always say, I kept thinking you were talking about a S-A-U-N-A, like sitting in a heated sauna. No, asana.com. You can set up a free account. They have a paid version as well, but it's awesome for project management. And I have fallen in love with this piece of software. I've used it for years, and I use it every day for my personal, family, and team projects, routines, and tasks. So it's a lifesaver, and it's really fun to use. And you can add links and photos. You can work with team members on collaborative projects, get daily email updates, and easily move projects around to meet your needs. So fun. Now, during this specific processing time I'm talking about today, I went into my Asana projects where I have them organized by current, in progress, next in line, and someday. And we have a whole podcast about that. I'll link to it at the bottom of the show notes. But as I went through and organized those projects, I made sure that the priorities made sense for my current goals and energy level and the personal, family, and business needs. Because things change, and the whole goal is to be adaptable and be flexible and not stress out about things, but get the most important things done. And then finally, I just want to talk about the 2-minute rule. I talk about it all the time, but David Allen teaches it in his books, and it works every day for me. If you can do something in 2 minutes or less, you just do it. You don't write it down. And I used to always write down 2-minute tasks. Now, sometimes when you're returning from a vacation or catching up on backlog, You have like 20 different 2-minute tasks, and I get it. But it saves time in the long run and helps build that momentum you're looking for if you can keep that 2-minute rule. Now, I want to pause for a moment and talk about what I would have improved. Because, yes, a lot of things worked really well, getting the emails to 0 and the planner organized and Evernote and Asana and this 2-minute rule and my Google Calendar, and I'm just feeling amazing while I'm processing. But one of my biggest challenges is getting caught up in the doing of tasks when I'm really supposed to be organizing or managing them. For example, one of my emails that I had in my inbox was a test version of our Learn, Do, Become newsletter that was scheduled to go out the following day. And my team puts it together and they send it to me and I do a little final review and then I send it back. And I thought, I could do this quickly. So I opened up our email manager and I started working on it. And instead of taking 2 minutes, it took more than 20 because I did this thing called the headline analyzer where you can write in a headline and they tell you the percentage that it earns, like points, how it would do. And then I overthought the way I introduced the podcast and ultimately I just took way too long. Now, what I ought to have done was written the task, like edit, learn, do, become newsletter, on my daily planner page, or if you don't use a paper planner, you could put it as a flexible task on a digital calendar or on a digital task list. And I should have just made time to work on it later. The job of a review is to organize the tasks in our brains, but we don't want to get sidetracked. We want the big picture organized so we know our priorities and what's on our calendar and what we actually want to accomplish. Getting stuck on 15 to 20 or 30-minute tasks is what halts your momentum. So if I could go back and do it over again, I would have had more respect for the 2-minute rule and recognized that the newsletter edit was not going to fit in the time that I had allotted. Okay, now I just want to talk about how it feels to close up for the day once a processing session is complete. It's heaven. It feels so good. I know it probably sounds crazy, but I feel so great once my brain is in order. So in the video, if you watch it, you'll hear me talk about it, but this is how I described it. I knew everything was safe. So emails that had been coming in during my processing session could wait until the next day. All important deadlines were met. I even got ahead and ran some errands during the lunch break, which felt so great. Meetings and appointments were scheduled to move projects forward. Important things got entered appropriately into the calendar. Everything was put into places where I could find them easily and quickly in the future, which means no wasted time looking for things. And I also knew that I worked on the most important tasks for the day. So my purpose, self-care, marriage and family, our broader community, etc., were taken care of. And I didn't feel that I'd let anyone down. Though I'm trying not to be a people pleaser, I really like knowing that I've covered all my bases and the things that I identified as most important were completed. Now, it isn't that I love organizing. Sometimes it feels a little bit like a necessary evil, but it's what organizing allows me to do. Enjoy the family, get outside, rest without stress, build relationships. And I know that you might often feel alone or overwhelmed or concerned about where to start or how to move forward on your many responsibilities. You want to do a great job. You want to feel excited about your work. You want to feel proud of yourself and know that you are living your purpose with strength and diligence and power. And after years of feeling like you've always been falling behind, it might be difficult to believe that there is even possibility for hope. So I just want to share my belief that you have the capacity to completely get out of the overwhelm. But you need to believe that it's possible. You know that you have a unique role in your life that only you can fulfill. And it's not an accident that you are living at this time with your current responsibilities alongside the people who are in your life on whom you can have a tremendous influence. There is power in you to do so much good. And I believe there's power from above, call it what you like, that will lift you and help you and enable you to work far outside your current capacities. And during the day, when I do my best to access that power, I feel so much love. The overwhelm can often stretch us, But when we see the challenges around us as opportunities to grow and perhaps even increase our faith in our higher power and feel lifted, miracles begin to happen. So we are cheering you on, and we feel so grateful to be part of this work with you. If you currently ever find yourself feeling stressed out with your stomach in knots or your head spinning with details, we want to help you. Now, you do need a STEP Command Central. You need time each week for a processing party or weekly review. But when you find yourself consistently waking up excited and going to bed content, you'll know that the effort was worth it. Now, if you don't yet have a STEP Command Central and you're thinking, April, I want to get started, show me how to do this, then you can click on the link on our show notes page for our introductory class and sign up, or you can just go to learndobecome.com/step. Now, if you're joining STEP, we have Mastery and Self-Study. Mastery version's the best because then you get to be in the Facebook group. We have more than 13,000 friends for you as I'm recording this. And you get coaching and bonuses that are awesome. But either way, if you're part of our paid programs or simply here in our community, loving the podcasts and videos, we are so happy to serve you, and we know that you can do this. Okay, have an amazing day. If you want to see the video or a written version of what you just listened to, then go to learndobecome.com/episode 104. Have an amazing day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.